Hey guys, I hope that you are having a great day. Um, First and foremost, thank you for watching this, and I hope that this video helps you finish up your rhetorical analysis notes. Um, and I am down here in the corner, and this is weird because I keep looking at myself and it makes my eyes go crooked. So, anyway, we're gonna get through this. Okay, so last week we talked about rhetorical analysis. And that sounds like a fancy word, but really that just means we're going to read or listen to a speech and think about how is the speaker communicating effectively. And by effectively, meaning how is he getting his point across? What is he or she doing to inspire me? Or what is he or she doing to inform me or persuade me or even entertain me? And so we talked about what we need to do before and while and after we read. And today we're just going to finish up those notes. So if you took notes last week, I said that you could do it in a Google Doc or on paper. Either is fine. And you can just write what is highlighted in yellow. So you can continue on from your notes from last week. And at the end of the week, you'll have another graded assignment where you will get to use these notes, okay? So today we're finishing up, and I titled this SOAPStone because that's the acronym that we're going to use to remember how to read or what to look for when we're reading a speech. Okay, so last week we talked about when reading, I'm going to move my little thing right here. Okay. When reading or listening to a speech, we are analyzing rhetorical strategies. We are thinking about how the author communicates effectively. We know we need to think about the speaker, so who is speaking, the occasion, so what's going on, what year is it, what might they be speaking, where might they be speaking at, the audience, so who's listening then and even now, and the purpose. So what is their purpose in this speech? What are they trying to do? Are they trying to prove, maybe? Okay, so today we're going to talk about the last two things that we're going to look at when we read a speech or think about. Okay. Sorry, y'all. Now, from those that I just talked about, how are we feeling about those things? Do you get those things? Do you understand? You can drag the up or down. And at any point, if you are lost or confused, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to email, which I know sometimes sucks. So I can call, I can FaceTime, we can Google Meet individually to talk about things. I don't mind those things at all. Can y'all tell I miss teaching? Using my hands. Okay. So the next thing, I just clicked Pear Deck. There we go. Okay, y'all, sorry. I don't know these little technical issues. Tone. So we talked about speaker, occasion, audience, purpose. The T is tone. The tone is the author's attitude toward the subject. We've already talked about what tone means. So we can determine what the tone is of the speaker. So maybe they're being passionate, maybe they're angry, maybe they're inspired themselves, maybe they're straightforward. We can determine the tone by looking at the word choice. And word choice is diction and connotation, which we'll talk about more in just a second. The sentence structure, so how do they word things? Do they repeat things? And imagery, so what kind of figurative language do they use, like similes or metaphors? So you can write those things that are in yellow to help you. So here are some tone words, and you can just write a few examples of these. I would write some that I know and some that I don't know and look them up. Straightforward, optimistic, arrogant, approving, grim, mocking, critical, disproving, gentle, malicious, amused, serious, frustrated, playful. So how are they speaking? And those are just some examples of words that you could use when someone says, what is the tone of the author? It might be some of those. Okay. Actually, I want to go back just one second because I want to say this. We talked about these words before, but optimistic and pessimistic are two really good words to know. Optimistic is you see the good things. You see the glass half full instead of half empty. Pessimistic is kind of like a Debbie Downer, like negative Nancy. You see, the worst in things. Okay. Now, we can use diction, which is word choice, the words that the author decides to use in their speech to determine the tone. So some words have more meaning than others, and effective speakers take the time to select the best words to convey their message. So when they write a speech or speaking, they think about, what word is what I really, what kind of emotion do I want to evoke? So they are very careful in choosing the right word. Do y'all hear my toddler screaming? Okay, fun stuff. Connotation versus denotation. So we talked about these a lot, but denotation is the dictionary definition of a word. The connotation is the emotional meaning. So some words can have the same denotation, but they might have different connotations. Like a building is not the same as house. They have the same denotation, but not the same feeling. And house might even have a different feeling than home. Now, home might be more comforting than house. Like lust and love. They're all similar. They have similar meanings, but they actually have different emotions and things that you think about when you hear that word or use that word. And the last thing is subject. So the subject is exactly, this is pretty simple. The subject of the passage or the speech is, what is this about? And you should try to state the subject of the text in just a few words or short phrases. So when we read a speech, we might say, this speech was about how people need to stand up for their rights, especially African Americans. If we were to read Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech, how white and African Americans need to stand up for African American rights during that time. That was the civil rights movement. So we will work on that this week. So the last thing to wrap this all up, SOAPStone. Okay, this is how we're going to think about or begin to think about how an author communicates effectively. SOAPs, we got SOAPStone stands for speaker, occasion, battery, audience, purpose, subject, and tone. So using SOAPStone to evaluate a text is a smart way to begin your rhetorical analysis. Okay, you guys, make sure you have these written down. We're going to use these notes tomorrow when we start reading a speech, and we're going to break those down into speaker, occasion, audience, purpose, subject, and tone, and be ready to think about speeches from history, some famous speeches. Okay, you guys, that is it. I'm going to, one last thing, circle how you're feeling. Circle how you're feeling. Are you feeling good? Hopefully it's the green. She got to see my face today. Yeah. Okay, bye y'all. Quarantine's making me go.